Chapter 48. Of Moab. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Woe unto Nebo, for it is spoiled. Kiriathaim is put to shame, it is taken. Misgab is put to shame and dismayed. The praise of Moab is no more. In Heshbon they have devised evil against her. Come, and let us cut off from being a nation. You also, O Madman, shalt be brought to silence. The sword shall pursue you. Hark, a cry from Horonaim, spoiling and great destruction. Moab is destroyed. Her little ones have cause to cry to be heard. For by the ascent of Luhith, with continual weeping shall they go up. For in the going down of Horonaim they have heard the distressing cry of destruction. Flee, save your lives, and be like a tamarisk in the wilderness. For because you have trusted in your works and in your treasures, you shall be taken, and Chemosh shall go forth into captivity, his priests and his princes together. And the spoilers shall come upon every city, and no city shall escape. The valley also shall perish, and the plain shall be destroyed, as the Lord has spoken. Give wings unto Moab, for she must fly and get away. And her cities shall become a desolation, without any to dwell therein. Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord with a slack hand, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood. Moab hath been at ease from his youth, and he hath settled on his lees, and hath not been emptied from vessel to vessel, neither hath he gone into captivity. Therefore his taste remaineth in him, and his scent is not changed. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will send unto him them that tilt up, and they shall tilt him up, and they shall empty his vessels, and break their bottles in pieces. And Moab shall be ashamed of Chemosh, and as the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethel, their confidence. How say you, we are mighty men, and valiant men for the war? Moab is spoiled, and they are gone up into her cities, and his chosen young men are gone down to the slaughter, saith the King, whose name is the Lord of hosts. The calamity of Moab is near to come, and his affliction hasteth fast. Bemoan him, all you that round about him, and all you that know his name. Say, how is the strong staff broken, the beautiful rod? O you daughter that dwellest in Dibon, come down from your glory, and sit in thirst. For the spoiler of Moab is come up against you. He hath destroyed your strongholds. O inhabitant of Aroer, stand by the way, and watch. Ask him that flees, and her that escapes, say, What hath been done? Moab is put to shame, for it is dismayed. Wail and cry, tell you it in Arnon, that Moab is spoiled. And judgment is come upon the country of the plain, upon Holon, and upon Yahazah, upon Mephaat, and upon Dibon, and upon Nemo, and upon Beth Diblathaim, and upon Kiriathaim, and upon Beth Gemol, and upon Beth Meon, and upon Kirioth, and upon Basra, and upon all the cities of the land of Moab, far or near. The horn of Moab is cut off, and his arm is broken, saith the Lord. Make you him drunken, for he magnified himself against the Lord. And Moab shall wallow in his vomit, and he also shall be in derision. For was not Israel a derision unto you? Was he found among thieves? For as often as you speak of him, you wag the head, O you that dwell in Moab. Leave the cities, and dwell in the rock, and be like the dove that makes her nest in the sides of the pit's mouth. We have heard the pride of Moab. He is very proud. His loftiness, and his pride, and his haughtiness, and the assumption of his heart. I know his arrogancy, saith the Lord, that it is ill-founded. His boastings have wrought nothing well-founded. Therefore will I wail for Moab. Yes, I will cry out for all Moab. For the men of Kir-Heres shall my heart moan. With no more the weeping of Yezer will I weep for you, O vine of Sibmah. Your branches passed over the sea. They reached even to the sea of Yazir. Upon your summer fruits and upon your vintage the spoiler is fallen, and gladness and joy is taken away from the fruitful field, and from the land of Moab. And I have caused wine to cease from the winepresses. None shall tread with shouting. The shouting shall be no shouting. From the cry of Heshbon, even unto Elilah, even unto Yahaz, have they uttered their voice. From Zoar even to Horonaim, a heifer of 3 years old. For the waters of Nimrim also shall be desolate. Moreover, I will cause to cease in Moab, saith the Lord, him that offereth in the high place, and him that offereth to his gods. Therefore my heart moaneth for Moab, like pipes. My heart moaneth like pipes for the men of Kerheres. Therefore the abundance that they hath gotten is perished. For every head is bald, and every beard clipped. Upon all the hands are cuttings, and upon the loins sackcloth. On all the housetops of Moab, and in the broad places thereof, there is lamentation everywhere. For I have broken Moab, like a vessel whereon is no pleasure, saith the Lord. How is it broken down? Wail you. How hath Moab turned the back with shame? So shall Moab become a derision and a dismay to all that are round about him. For thus saith the Lord, Behold, he shall swoop as a vulture, and shall spread out his wings against Moab. The cities are taken, and the strongholds are seized, and the heart of the mighty men of Moab at that day shall be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. And Moab shall be destroyed from being a people, because he has magnified himself against the Lord. Terror and the pit and the trap are upon you, O inhabitant of Moab, saith the Lord. He that fleeth from terror shall fall into the pit, and he that getteth out of the pit shall be taken in the trap. For I will bring upon her, even upon Moab, the year of their visitation, saith the Lord. In the shadow of Heshbon the fugitives stand, without strength, for a fire is gone forth out of Heshbon, a flame from the midst of Sihon, and it devoureth the corner of Moab, and the crown of the head of the tumultuous ones. Woe unto you, O Moab! The people of Chemosh is undone, for your sons are taken away captive, and your daughters into captivity. Yet will I turn the captivity of Moab in the end of days, saith the Lord. And thus far is the judgment of Moab. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. We remember yesterday we was dealing with the Philistines, and before we was dealing with the Egypt, even prophecies from before. These are older prophecies of Jeremiah, this one whom God has appointed, and we was talking about this overflowing stream once again, just like we was talking about that was coming up from Egypt, that was coming against Egypt, this overflowing stream that was going to be used against Egypt now, and even this overflowing stream that's coming up against the Philistines, that's coming against the Philistines. Now we're going to be, as we read this, there's a flood. There's a flood, and what it is a flood of judgment coming into the land, because it's just like the floods, even the floods of Noah, this flood of judgment. And at that time, Noah was in an ark, and this ark would represent the law of God, and that's really what the whole story is. It all represents is the law. See, the law, that which they have transgressed, and that which the flood of judgment is coming against. But we're going to pick it up in verse 1, and will be against Moab. And Moab is this one. And what it is he is from his father, see, and it means he was born from his father. Moab is the son of Lot's daughter, and when they destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah and they went out, Lot lost his wife. His daughters got Lot drunk and went into Lot, and this would be incestual, and it's what it means. This one who was born from his father through this incestual relationship, we will refer to him as from his father, because that's what Moab means. Verse 1. Of Moab Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Woe unto Nebo, for it is spoiled. Kiriathaim is put to shame, it is taken. Misgab is put to shame and dismayed. And this would be the prophecies against Moab even. And thus saith the Lord of hosts, against Moab, this one who's from his father. He is the God of Israel. Woe unto Nebo, woe unto Nebo, and Nebo is that prophet, for it is spoiled in this place of the prophets, and Kiriathaim is put to shame, because Kiriathaim is that dual cities, that place even of two cities, or more than one city, place of cities is put to shame. It is taken. It is taken. Misgab is put to shame and dismayed. And Misgab is that place that is, what it means is the high place that has been secured. They have went up there and took over the high place. Verse 2. The praise of Moab is no more in Heshbon. They have devised evil against her. Come, and let us cut her off from being a nation. You also, O Madman, shalt be brought to silence. The sword shall pursue you. The praise of Moab, or this, all the greatness and glory that it's receiving, shall be no more. It's being cut off, and that's what it refers to, this cut off in Heshbon. And Heshbon is that stronghold. It means the stronghold. Their stronghold is being cut off, because why? They have devised an evil against her, and her referring to this feminine part of her, that once again, this would be the gentle side, the curved side, the weakness of the guard, so to speak. Come and let us cut off from being a nation, you also, O Madman. And Madman is not madmen. It is actually a place, and it means the dunghill shall be brought to silence. The sword shall pursue you, and as always, this sword is the law of God. It represents the judgment, even the law that comes from God. 3. Hark, listen. A cry from Horonaim, spoiling and great destruction. And Horonaim is that place of holes. Horon, it means hole, and Aim is the plural. What it means, there's more than one hole. And there's a spoiling and great destruction, because, listen, that's what it is. It's a place of pits, see, and these pits are these non-understandings, like I have said in the past, the non-understandings of men that they dig out, and they're setting traps for. Moab is destroyed. Her little ones have caused a cry to be heard. Her little ones, these young ones even, that have no understanding, have caused the cry to be heard because of their sufferings. See, their sufferings. Their sufferings for by the ascent of Luhith, with continual weeping shall they go up, for in the going down of Horonaim they have heard the distressing cry of destruction. And Luhith is the place, this is tablets, means the tablets. For the going up of the tablets, these laws, you got 2 tablets even, 5 laws on one tablet, 5 laws on the other tablet. They create a doorway. This continual weeping going up to these tablets, to the law. Why? For in the going down of Horonaim, they have heard the distressing cry of destruction. For as the children were going down into the pit, see, as they was going down, they seen the truth, and it was made known, see, and they could hear these cries of destruction, these slow degradation of society that's brought on by those that wish to rule over you, for whatever reason they have. They have so many reasons. We're going to see that people always want to use someone else as a servant. 5. 6. Flee, save your lives, and be like a tamarisk in the wilderness. So flee and run away. Go hide. Be like a tamarisk. And a tamarisk is a tree. It's just a tree in the wilderness. And it could be like an oak tree. But the wilderness is going to be a place where the words drive out. See, that's going to go be that, stand there and be like one in the wilderness, in this place where the words are going to drive out. 7, for because you have trusted in your works and in your treasures, you also shall be taken. And Chemosh shall go forth into captivity, his priests and his princes together. For because, see, you have trusted in your works, these works of your own hands, these works that you have done, and in your treasures, these wealth that you have gathered, you also shall be taken. See, there's going to be no place to hide. It's the judgment. And Chemosh, we're familiar with Chemosh. Chemosh is that sun image, the image of the sun that they made for themselves. And this sun dates back to ancient times, of the thoughts that it was where mankind was born, and this would be the sun, even that son of what they thought was God, the Son of God. Captivity, his priest and his princes together, and they will go forth into captivity. Why? Because God set these things in motion from the Ancient of Days. From the Ancient of Days, this has been wrote down, and this story has been told. 8, and the spoiler shall come upon every city, and no city shall escape. The valley also shall perish, and the plain shall be destroyed, as the Lord has spoken. And the spoiler shall come upon every city. The spoiler is the one who comes against those guarded places, and there's no guarded place that shall escape. Why? Because they have no understanding. They aren't able to fight. They aren't able to stand in the battle. And Babylon's coming in confusion, and none could conceive it. This valley also shall perish. That valley is that low place, even that place of flesh, because we'll find that down there they've made them a high place. And that's what they did. They went down into the valley and made them a high place. 9, give wings unto Moab, for she must fly and get away. Her cities shall become a desolation, without any to dwell therein. Somebody give them some wings to Moab. Give them wings so they can fly away like a bird. See, Moab, he's that from his father, that they could fly away. But see, this is just an insinuation. Why? Because your feet, these paths you're on, ain't going to carry you away fast enough. See, you're going to need some wings to try to fly away. Why? Because your cities, her cities, and her, once again, this feminine, referring to her as a daughter, or, see, the daughter, that one you thought to bring forth understanding, shall become a desolation, without any to dwell therein. So this understanding, even these cities, these protectors of it, is going to become a desolation. 10, cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord with a slack hand, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood. Cursed, see, cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord with a slack hand. Cursed be he that models around ratchet jawing all day, never doing anything. Cursed be he that keeps back his sword from blood. And this from blood means to keep back it from the sin. This is the sin that goes on in the earth, and they don't come against it with the law. See, they allow it, and this is what pollutes the earth. This is what makes the sin unatonable, because nobody makes atonement. There is no way to make atonement, because no one teaches the law that each one, everybody having understanding, can make atonement for a sin by turning. See, that's what's required, is that you turn from sin. 11. Moab hath been at ease from his youth. He has settled on his lees, and has not been emptied from vessel to vessel, neither hath he gone into captivity. Therefore his taste remains in him, and his scent is not changed. And Moab, that one from his father, has been at ease from his youth. See, from his youth, he's had the easy seat. He's had the good seat, and he has settled on his lees. And like those ones who get settled on their lees, and this lees is the bottom of the barrel, and they've been drinking it so long they're happy with it. See, they're happy with the bottom of the barrel. It don't bother them, but they forget how sweet the wine was in the beginning. See, when it was first pressed out of the grape, and now it's fermented, and they've drank all the wine, and they've got to the bottom of the barrel, and they're content with it. And hath not been emptied from vessel to vessel, and this vessel to vessel has been poured out from one to another. See, poured out from one to another. Neither has he gone in captivity. So he's never known captivity. He has not been taken out of his city and been led off into the captivity that God causes. See, these captivities that he brought Israel through, that we used for an example before, and his scent is not changed. Therefore his taste remaineth in him. And thus taste refers to a sweetness, this sweetness that comes from the pleasantness, like if we would refer to it like a cake. This taste that is in your mouth, the sweetness of it remains in him, and his scent is not changed. And this odor, even this scent that is a pleasant odor, why? Because he's not been caused to toil. He has no sweat upon him. 12. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will send unto him them that tilt up, and they shall tilt him up, and they shall empty his vessels, and break their bottles in pieces. Therefore, behold, watch and see, the days come. These days refer to a small understanding, saith the Lord, that I will send unto him them that tilt up, and they shall tilt him up. And this tilt up, I believe the King James says something about wanderers. Wanderers ain't got nothing to do with it. But the tilt up, this tilt up, it's like if it could mean a couple different things. If we was talking about a bow, we would bend it. If we was talking about a fence post, we would be knocking it down. And if we're talking about a pitcher or a vessel, like we are here, it would be to tilt it over and pour it out. And that's what we're talking about. He shall be poured out. This is all this wine, all this harvest they've got, all this from the grapes that they've gathered, and their vessels will be poured out. It's going to be wasted, and the bottle which it was in will be broken to pieces. And once again, this we're going to find out is in reference to these vessels that God makes, the potter makes, and they get broken in time, see? And over a period of time, the vessel becomes worn, or the vessel becomes polluted, the vessel becomes unclean, and the vessel is destroyed, or the vessel is taken out. You know, like Jeremiah took the vessel out and he dashed it against the rock because the vessel was polluted. 13. And Moab shall be ashamed of Chemosh, as the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethel, their confidence. And Moab, the one from his father, shall be ashamed of their sun image, as the house of Israel was ashamed of the house, the Bet-El, this house of the mighty one, who was their confidence, and they didn't obey the law, see? And they was ashamed of him and said, we will not do it. See, we're going to find out that same shame shall come upon Moab, because this mighty one, even the mighty one of all those that ruled the strong ones. 14. How say you, we are mighty men and valiant men for the war? How do you say, we are mighty men and valiant men for the war, seeing you have no understanding, you have no armor, you have no sword, you don't have the law, you don't have the shield of the law, you ain't got a salvation on your head, got no zeal? How are you going to stand before the army of God 15, Moab is spoiled, and they are gone up into her cities, and his chosen young men are gone down to the slaughter, saith the king, whose name is the Lord of hosts. Moab, the one from his father, is spoiled. They are gone up into her cities. We're going to find out. See, all the women and children, they've run up in the cities. All these that don't have understanding, they've gone up into the cities. Those that have the guardman, and he stands up there and he says, we will make sure no one gets here. And all the young men, these are the ones that ain't got no understanding anyway. Where have they gone? Out to the slaughter. They think they can go out and fight and defend, and they don't have no understanding. We're going to find out without it. See, and this would be the law of God, because remember what he said in the beginning. This is your knowledge, this is your understanding, and this is your wisdom. And this is what you fight the Lord with. This is when you come against God, this is what you're going to fight against. See, and you're going to find out this is the law of God, saith the king, whose name is the Lord of hosts. 16, the calamity of Moab is near to come, and his affliction hasteth fast. This calamity that we've been talking about, where God sends this flood of destruction, even in the end, this great flood of knowledge and understanding that puts them to shame. His affliction hasteth, and it cometh fast. As soon as this is made known. 17, bemoan him, all you that are round about him, and all you that know his name. Say, how is the strong staff broken, the beautiful rod? How is it done? How has God set this for an example? Even from the days of old, how has he made it known? How has God done it? How has he broken it? 18, O you daughter that dwelleth in Dibon, this Dibon, this place of wasting and mourning, this one who's dwelling there, this daughter, this one who had the understanding, even from this understanding that come in from her father, Dibon, that place of mourning, come down from your glory and sit in thirst. You ain't got nothing to drink. See, there's no waters, there's no understanding. Sit now in your thirst. For the spoiler of Moab is come against you. He has destroyed your strongholds. And these strongholds, we remember strongholds, that's Heshbon. He has done destroyed Heshbon. These strongholds, these high places you've made, these destroyers have come upon you. The spoiler of Moab, the spoiler of this one who come from his father. 19, O inhabitant of Aurora, stand by the way and watch. Ask him that flees and her that escapes, say, what has been done? This place of Aurora. We remember Aurora. Aurora is that place of two strippings. It's that place kind of got a double punishment. It's that place that was stripped and made bare. See, made naked, made desolate, punished. It's like a double punishment almost. And stand by the way and watch. See, this is the place where we get to witness the punishment of God twice. See, we see that judgment twice. This is a witness. 20, Moab is put to shame, for it is dismayed. Well and cried, tell you it on Arnon, that Moab is spoiled. And the one from his father is put to shame, for he is dismayed. It's dismayed. Well and cry. Truth. Tell it in Arnon, that the one from his father is spoiled. Arnon, go tell it at that place of the rushing stream, where they get all their knowledge, where it's supposed to be coming down to them. 21. And judgment is come upon the country of the plain, upon Holon, and upon Yatzah, and upon Mepbaeth, and Apollon, that place of sandy, that's this country of the plain, that place that's level. We're going to find out. See, it was built in a bad place. See, it was built in an old flood plain even. It's that sandy place. That Holon, sandy. Holon means sandy. It's a place that was built on the sand even. And upon Yatsah. Yatsah is that place that's going to be trodden down. And upon Mepba'ah, that shining place on the hill even. 22. And upon Dibon, we remember Dibon, that place of wasting and mourning. And Nebo, the prophet, even the place of the prophet. Upon Bet Deblathaim, and that is the house of two figs. And this house of two figs, two, witness now, or it is a dual, it's a dual, I should say, the place of figs. And figs was that acceptable fruit, please, that acceptable fruit even, that was made acceptable, that they went in and they polluted, we'll find out. And upon Kiriathaim, and upon Beth Gamul, and upon Bet Meon. And this Kiriathaim, we remember, is the place of cities. And this Beth Gamul, Bet means house, and Gamul is recompense. And Bet Meon, Bet means house, and this is the house of refuge. And that house of recompense, or that house of just reward, even that house of recompense, because we're talking about the judgment of God coming in against these protected places, these cities. 24. And upon Keriot, and upon Basra, and upon all the cities of the land of Moab, far or near. And this Keriot is a singular form of Kiriathaim. It means a city, that place of with a guard, that place with the guard. And upon Basra, the fortress of the sheepfold, and that's the city we're talking about, the city of the fortress of the sheepfold. And upon all the cities of the land of he that is from his father, far or near, all of them, all their cities, all these strongholds, all these shining places on the hill, all these houses of the figs, the house of recompense, that's where the house of judgment, it's like the recompense you get where they hand out the reward. 25. The horn of Moab is cut off, and his arm is broken, saith the Lord. The horn of Moab is cut off. The horn is a representation of the strength in your understanding to use, to push with, this understanding of the head is cut off from Moab, the one from his father, and his arm is broken, and his arm is his strength of his ability to do any work, and it's taken away, saith the Lord. 26. Make you him drunken, for he magnified himself against the Lord. And Moab shall wallow in his vomit, and he also shall be a derision. Make you him drunken. Make you him drunk. And this drunken is to have been taken in ignorance. It's a drunken of understanding, so to speak. It's to be polluted in your understanding, for he magnified himself against the Lord. We remember this. God was trying to show us this. He was magnifying this. God magnifying himself through the work is what he was actually trying to do. But he magnified himself against God through this, and Moab will wallow in his vomit, that one from his father. And he also shall be in derision, or in great confusion. 27. For was not Israel a derision unto you? Was he found among thieves? For as often as you speak of him, you wag the head. And this wag the head, you shake your head like, oh, he's stupid, he's dumb, he don't know anything. Poor Israel. And we're going to find out this is what they was doing, and this is what's being done. This Israel is a derision unto you. A derision is like a confusion. It's like a confusion unto you. But was he found among thieves? No, he was not. See, but as often as you speak of him, you wag your head. like he was. 28. O you that dwell in Moab, leave the cities and dwell in the rock. Be like the dove that makes her nest in the sides of the pit's mouth. See, go hide, O you the Moab, the one from his father. Leave the cities. Go get out of these places that are protected by men and dwell in the rock. See, in the rock, in the hiding places, in the crevices of the law even now. And be like the dove that makes her nest in the sides of the pit. In the pit's mouth, see, they fly down into the pit's mouth and there find the chink in the stone and hide within it. See, just the pit's mouth. 29. We have heard the pride of Moab. He is very proud. His loftiness and his pride and his haughtiness and the assumption of his heart. And this pride, because why? He exalted himself against God. He tried to make it known that Israel, laughing, shaking the head, they were being carried off into captivity. He didn't think he was going to go into captivity. We'll find out that this simply is not the case. And this is the haughtiness, we thought. This is the pride. This is the arrogancy. 30. I know his arrogancy, saith the Lord, that it is ill-founded. His boastings have wrought nothing well-founded. I know his arrogancy, saith the Lord. I know it's all mouth and no show. That it's ill-founded, that it's for the gain of men, set there for pollute. His boastings have wrought nothing well-founded. They ain't done no good. All this promise of that which ain't going to be. 31. Therefore will I wail for Moab. Yes, I will cry out for all Moab. For the men of Kir Heres shall my heart moan. Therefore will I wail for Moab. I will cry out for Moab, this one from his father. For the men of Kir Heres shall my heart moan. And these men of Kir Heres is that wall of potsherds, this wall of broken pieces, this wall of these promises that never come, these walls of these vessels that have been dashed against the stone that was broken from old, even this polluted place, this fortress of broken pieces or potsherds. My heart shall moan for them. 32. With more than the weeping of Yazer will I weep for you, O vine of Sibmah. Your branches passed over the sea. They reached even to the sea of Yazer. Upon the summer fruits and upon your vintage is the spoiler fallen. The spoiler is fallen. And we're going to see this weeping with more than weeping, with great tears and agony for Yatzir, those that were helped. Will I weep for you? O vine of Sibmah, this fragrant source of balm, this fragrant source of healing, this pleasant smelling healing. For your branches passed over the sea, over many waters, and they reached even to the sea of Yazer, those that were helped. And upon your summer fruits, and upon your vintage is the spoiler fallen. We're going to find out this your summer fruits. This is just when the summer was starting to bring forth a harvest, even in the trees, even in this which the fruitful field gives, even the law. 33. And gladness and joy is taken away from the fruitful field, and from the land of Moab, and I have caused the wine to cease from the wine presses. None shall tread with shouting. The shouting shall be no shouting. And gladness and joy is taken away from the fruitful field. And this good thing you thought you had is gone. In this fruitful field, that place where you planted, that place where you thought you was going to bring forth the harvest. And from the land of Moab, this one from his father, and those of it, I have caused the wine to cease from the wine presses. And this is the place where you was trodden down the grapes, mashing it out. This is where you thought you would take the grapes and make you a harvest. And this squeezing is of the people. This squeezing is of the people. You're shouting. shall be no shouting. And that's when we hear the silence. The great shout shall go forth. 34, from the cry of Heshbon, even unto Elealeh, even unto Yahaz, have they uttered their voice, from Zoar even to Horonaim, a heifer of 3 years old. For the waters of Nimrim also shall be desolate. And from Heshbon, we remember Heshbon, that stronghold, even unto Elealeh, that place where God, the Mighty One, is going up, even to Yahaz. Yahaz is that is trodden down. They have uttered the voice. It's been yelled, it's been screamed, from Zoar even to Horonaim. And Zoar is that which is going to be shrunk. Zoar is that which is made small. It's been cut down. Even to Horonaim. Horonaim, we remember, is that place of holes. A heifer of 3 years old. A heifer represents, and at 3 years old, that one that's getting ready to go into the field to bring forth, even to add to the flock, to add to the fold. See this, 3 years being 3, this complete. Greater understanding even from the old, from the aged. That one that we was expecting to bring forth this great understanding even from old. For the waters of Nimrim, also shall be desolate. And these waters of Nimrim are these waters that are coming down. These are the waters coming down, this knowledge, this understanding, or these ones of pureness. Of pureness. Nimrim means to be pure, much pure. Also shall be desolate. Moreover, 35, I will cause to cease in Moab, saith the Lord, him that offereth in the high place, and him that offereth to his gods. And this was the problem. See, offer to his gods, these that were not of gods, even these ones that God had given in the beginning for all these nations to rule over, so he could make an example of them. And he's going to cause to cease in Moab, this one from his father, all those high places. See, all those high places. And these that offer to these other gods, these that offer to even these understandings they know nothing about. They don't know who God is. They never sit down and understand to know who God is and how God works. 36, therefore my heart moans for Moab like pipes. My heart moans like pipes for the men of Kir-Heres. Therefore the abundance that they hath gotten is perished. My heart moaning for this one from his father, like a pipe, like a sad song coming off of a flute. My heart moans like pipes. And that's what this represents. It's like a song being played for these ones of me, for Kir-Heres. And Kir-Heres, once again, is that wall of potsherds, that wall where they've took these broken vessels and tried to build a wall out of it to take it. And this represents all these vessels that were before, all these gods, these not a gods that was before, that God has made an example of through the period and through the ages and through time, destroying them one by one, these vessels, breaking them. They take these potsherds, these pieces, and they've built walls with them, letting all these understandings come in that have nothing to do. And God said, you shall not do these things. You shall not do after all the nations do. You shall, for after every abomination have they done. 37, for every head is bald, and every beard clipped. Upon all the hands are cuttings, and upon the loins sackcloth. And upon their secret places they're hiding, because they don't have no understanding. They're in mourning, looking for it. All these secret places, these places that they gird themselves. And these hands, all their works are cuttings. There is no good in it. They are cutting themselves in anguish. They can't do anything good. Every beard is clipped. Their faces are made plain. See, there's nothing that's going to be hid. This is where the face is made plain. We we have seen their face plain. Every head is bald. The glory's been taken away. All this covering that God gave is taken away. See, God had been protecting from the beginning, 38. On all the housetops of Moab, and in the broad places thereof, there is lamentation everywhere. For I've broken Moab like a vessel, wherein is no pleasure, saith the Lord. On the housetops, all your high places, all these places you make for yourself up on the roof, and in the broad places, these places that you make wide, they're widened out so you get more people in there. See, that's what we're talking about, the marketplaces. This is where they sell and buy knowledge and word of God. Therefore there is lamentation everywhere. There's crying, there's weeping everywhere. Why? For I have broken Moab like a vessel, wherein is no pleasure, saith the Lord. For who has? God has. God has done these things. God done it, and none can say anything about it. Moab, the one from his father, like a vessel, has no pleasure. And once again, see, this is what God does. God creates the vessel. He is the potter. They are the clay. And when the vessel has no pleasure to him, he breaks it. 39. How is it broken down? Wail you. How hath Moab turned back with shame? So shall Moab become a derision and a dismay to all that are round about him. How is it done? How is it done? Wail you. How hath Moab turned back with shame? See, you've turned your back from God. You went against the law of God. You went against God's understanding, God's wisdom, God's knowledge He gave you in the beginning for your own good. See, God doing this, making an example. You turned your back in shame. God prospered you. Now He's bringing you down. 40. For thus saith the Lord, behold, He shall swoop as a vulture, and shall spread out his wings against Moab. And we know this swoop down like a vulture, spreading out his wings, creates a great shadow on the earth, creates a great shadow of darkness. See, and Moab, against Moab, Moab's under the wing, see, under the shadow, under the darkness, this one from his father. 41. The cities are taken, and the strongholds are seized, and the heart of the mighty men of Moab at that day shall be as the heart of the woman in her pangs. These cities are taken, and the strongholds are seized. It's over. See, God has come in your great darkness. He has carried you away. The cities are taken, the strongholds are seized, and the heart of the mighty men of Moab, these from their father. These are all those that made themselves priests, set themselves up this seat to rule. All of them's heart shall be just like a woman in her pangs, trying to bring forth birth, even a woman trying to bring forth this understanding. 43. Terror and the pit and the trap are upon you, O inhabitant of Moab, saith the Lord. Terror and the pit and the trap are upon you, O inhabitant of Moab. And this one from his father. See, terror. What is terror? Terror is that which comes from the realization that you've not been following the law of God, that you've been deceived. And the pit, see, the pit is the trap thereof, this deception of men, these lies that they teach to get your soul. That's where they hold it. And the trap is that which they use to get you there, or upon you. That's what's upon you. These are lies. These are deceits. This is a pit you've been taken in. 44. He that fleeth from the terror shall fall into the pit, and he that getteth up out of the pit shall be taken in the trap. For I bring upon her, even upon Moab, the year of their visitation, saith the Lord. And this year of visitation, once again, this is the greater understanding of your visitation. He that flees from the terror, he that runs from the word of God, he that runs from this understanding, shall fall into the pit. There's going to be the pit there. You're going to be taken in ignorance. You're going to be taken in this prison place, this place where men have hold you in their lack of understanding. This is what the pit is. The pit is these understandings now that men have dug out. These not of gods even, these idols, images even. And this trap, that's the trap they use. All these pleasant things, all their pleasant, wonderful things, just like God said from the beginning, they're going to use it. It's going to be a trap. 45. In the shadow of Heshbon, the fugitives stand without strength, for a fire is gone out of Heshbon, and a flame from the midst of Sihon, and it devoured the corner of Moab, and the crown of the head of the tumultuous ones, in the shadow of the stronghold. In the shadow of the stronghold, and that shadow is always going to be something blocking the light of God, something blocking understanding coming in. And that's the shadow of that stronghold that they had built. The fugitives stand without strength. And these ones that have ran, they stand there now without strength. They got no ability to fight because they have no understanding. No one ever giving them understanding. They don't have the law. They don't have any understanding of it. They're unable to stand. They don't have a shield, no sword or nothing. They wasn't prepared for the great battle. And the flame a fire has gone out of Heshbon, out of that stronghold. It's been set on fire, and the fire is coming out of the gates of it, and the flame out of the midst of Sihon. And Sihon is even that place that has been swept away, because it has not only been destroyed by a flood, but it has been swept away by fire, by this fire of God. And it devours the corners of Moab. And these corners represent those places that they turn, those places that was set there, even these watchtowers, and the crown of the head of the tumultuous ones. These tumultuous ones are the troublemakers. This is the crown of the head of those that cause trouble. 46, woe unto you, O Moab! The people of Chemosh is undone, for your sons are taken away captive, and your daughters into captivity. Woe unto you! Why, misery's come, O Moab, the one from his father. The people of Chemosh is undone. The people of the sun, the people even that went to the sun temple, that worshiped the image of the sun. For your sons are taken away captive. And these sons are those that have come from your understanding. Those ones that have come from your understanding, we're going to find out they're young men and they've come out to battle. They've been carried away captive. They have no understanding. And your daughters unto captivity. Your daughters, even those that you thought would go out and bring forth understanding to you, no, they have been carried into captivity. They have no understanding either. 47, yet will I turn the captivity of Moab in the end of days, saith the Lord. And thus far is the judgment of Moab. And this captivity, you've already been taken in. See, you've been in this captivity. And thus far is the judgment of Moab, this one from his father. But in the end of days, see, in the end of days, see, when the little understanding ends and the greater understanding is known, see, God turns the captivity of Moab, this one from his father. God turns the captivity, see, because God controls all these things. God does this, see, and all we have to say is, turn me, Lord. Turn you me, and I will be turned. And as soon as you stop and listen to God, you will turn. And that's really what we try to emphasize. When I say turn, see, and that's what I'm saying, is God is saying turn. God is saying turn. And that's all you have to do now is turn. Turn from your sin. Turn to the law. It was your understanding from the beginning. It will always be knowledge. It's that which you fight with. It's that which you defend yourself with. It's both. It's everything. It's your armor. It's your salvation. These words that God gave you from the beginning. All right, let's move on to chapter 49.